Over the last few years, we saw Disney and Marvel try to make all sorts of excuses as to why so many of their movies, especially in Phase 4, were underperforming. They tried to say, well, it's all because the pandemic. The pandemic, it made people not want to go to the theaters anymore, even though that argument was blown out of the water when it came to No Way Home, or Top Gun Maverick, or Avatar 2, The Way of Water. So now finally, everyone's being forced to admit, especially with the failure of Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, couldn't even reach $500 million worldwide, that there is a massive problem right now at Marvel. And despite the goodwill and the success of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, which might actually break even if it continues the good box office run, people know that that's the last hurrah for James Gunn and so many of those characters. They're not going to get something like that from today's MCU, not anymore. And we continue to find out all of the chaos that goes on behind the scenes, even from MCU actors. This is what Elizabeth Olsen put out the other day. Elizabeth Olsen calls out Doctor Strange 2's problematic script changes. Also, keep in mind, Elizabeth Olsen is the same person who just a few weeks or months ago said, yeah, the people that wrote Doctor Strange 2 had no idea anything of the things that went on in WandaVision. You know, the thing that directly preceded Doctor Strange 2, the Disney Plus show they made such a big deal about, where so many things happened. And of course, she enslaved an entire town and faced zero ramifications in Doctor Strange 2. Oh, yes. It makes sense now that they had no idea. You have people that are writing these stories that are not even paying attention to the rest of the stuff that's going on within the MCU. That is a big part of the problem. But listen to what Elizabeth Olsen said the other day. Elizabeth Olsen admitted she had to stop reading drafts of Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness due to its constant changes. Doctor Strange 2 went into a tedious behind-the-scenes overhaul when Sam Raimi replaced original filmmaker Scott Derrickson. And Multiverse of Madness was a colossal mess. It just was a mess, and there were some Sam Raimi moments in it. I think people could see that, but overall, it felt like an abomination of a movie. And it came off the high of Spider-Man No Way Home. It had a $450 million global opening, yet completely stalled out. That was 50% of the money it made was on opening weekend, both domestic and international. It stalled out. A film that has an opening like that is usually guaranteed like probably $1.5 billion, to be quite honest with you, but not this movie because of how poorly it was received. In November 2021, Doctor Strange began a round of significant reshoots. Some reports claimed it was due to actor availability, pandemic-related things, yet some fans feared it was an attempt to remedy some story-related issues. Well, now we're hearing, yes, it was all about the script, nothing to do with story issues. It was everything to do with the production of this film. In an interview with Josh Horowitz, Scarlet Witch actress Elizabeth Olsen revealed she just stopped reading drafts during Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness after a problematic trend arose where it kept changing. Horowitz, how much of what I saw in Doctor Strange 2 resembles the initial script? It resembled more than I thought it was going to. I mean, there were definitely moments where there's a point in making the movie where I just stopped reading drafts. It was just like, this is going to change again. Just keep me posted with the information I need. You guys fill in the blanks, but I'll just keep in my lane. That was one wild ride. And she's talked about these reshoot issues, these rewrite issues, a lot about the problems, and including, again, I will include this line. Olsen revealed the writers of Doctor Strange hadn't seen WandaVision. It's a similar arc in Multiverse of Madness that it is in WandaVision. There could be parallel stories being there of dealing with grief and loss. Well, I proposed that to the writers who wrote Multiverse of Madness. I said, do you know what we're doing in WandaVision? Have you seen it? And no, they hadn't seen it because it wasn't finished yet. They had no idea what was going on, and that's part of the problem. Now, reportedly, a couple weeks ago, it came out that Kevin Feige is looking to hire more experienced writers. Well, considering the ones that have been doing these things, the people that have been writing these scripts, the people, especially on the Disney Plus shows, and even on some of the movies, have essentially no experience. They're just brought in to be yes men to whatever, to push whatever agenda they possibly can. That is one of the biggest reasons why Marvel has suffered over the last several years, whether it's box office disappointments, whether it's streaming ratings disasters over on Disney Plus. It's unavoidable and it's unescapable that there's a massive problem with the MCU. And for Elizabeth Olsen to be as candid as she was and saying, yeah, it was such a fucking mess. It was such a nightmare. They kept changing the script. I just said eventually, hey, stop bringing me these changes. Just tell me what I need to know when I'm there. Basically, when I'm there on set, tell me what I need to say. That kind of shows you the chaos that has been going on for years now. All of Phase 4, beginning of Phase 5 at Marvel. Obviously, the writer's strike, I don't know how soon things are going to change, how soon they're going to hire writers that actually know what they're doing, at least according to these reports. But certainly, it's now impossible to deny the reality that so many people were trying to deny for a long time. There's a big problem at Marvel. Let me know your thoughts about all this in the comments section below. Smash a like button, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications, share this video out there, and I'll talk to you later.